The oversight team needs to remember we might start talking about a new computer tomorrow night. What is it?
Are you guys sure you got this?
Yeah, the twins are plugged in, baby's asleep. How hard can this be?
Chuck Norris at a Pizza Hut once. I think his power's rubbed off on me.
Get out of here. Go on, enjoy your mommy getaway weekend.
Oh, this weekend was a bad idea.
What happened last time we watched the kids?
I'm not a pinata! Yeah, we're gonna need help.
Warning, use of this product may alter your perception of reality. All right, everything looks the same. This is a joke.
Guys, it's like the Sahara in this cup. Can somebody hit me with some juice? And listen, pulp, no pulp, doesn't make a difference to me. You're the ones dealing with the diaper.
Mom goggles. It's beautiful.
Okay, sweetie, I need you to sit on your bottom. Listen to Daddy. You sit on your bottom, okay? Daddy's gonna come get you. Don't move. Don't dance. You sit on your bottom. Daddy's gonna come get you.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Don't you try to stop me.
Lady with the booty, yes you did.
Where are your mom? And then rock this mommy forever.
I don't know how they do it.
Oh. Under the corner.
No, I'm asking the question, how do moms do all of this? How do they handle it all?
Well, maybe they have goggles we don't know about.
It's as if God gave moms a special way of looking at things, you know? Okay, who taught you servanthood? Who modeled grace? Who gave you a taste of what God's love could look like?
My mom, Mr. T, and my mom.
Anyway, I just think God gave moms a special way of looking at things. Hey, honey.
Hey, how's it going at home?
It's all good. Guess you could say I'm starting to catch a glimpse of what your world looks like.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Hold on, your daughter wants to say something to you. She says she misses you. And she realizes how important you are to life. And she doesn't know how you do it. And she knows that she can't make it without you.
She said all that.
I don't know if she said it. But it's what I wanted to say. And I should have said it a lot sooner. I thank God for you.
The twins.
It was nothing. We have to go, okay? Love you, Mommy.
This place is like a pigsty.
Well, our apologies for the, can you turn that light back on there, Dan? Apologies for the technical difficulties, but we're working on that. We're working on getting her some better tools here. So, you know what? Let's put our mom goggles on for a few minutes, because that's, and you might be here and say, well, I'm not a mom. Well, you probably will be, all right? And if you're not, you probably, I would imagine, my guess is that everybody in this room probably has a mother. That's my guess. Right? So, you know, we need to look at what the Lord wants us to do. I'm going to read a quiz that I found, and you'll see some slides come up, hopefully. This is a quiz I'm going to call it Parenting 101. And this is for those of you that are considering, it's a little late for us, but for those of you that are considering having children, this will give you a little help on whether you're ready or not. All right? And so those of you that will relate, just follow along. And there are 10 tests, all right? And the first one is called the preparation test. Okay, so women, this is for the women only. Put on a dressing gown and stick a bean bag down the front. Leave it there. After 9 months, remove 10 of the beans. It's funny. Women are like, that ain't funny. No, that ain't funny. Men, to prepare for children, go to a local chemist. Tip the contents of your wallet onto the counter and tell the pharmacist to help himself. Go to the supermarket. Arrange to have your salary paid directly to that store. Go home, pick up the newspaper, and read it for the last time. Then the knowledge test. Find a couple who are already parents and berate them about their methods of discipline. Lack of patience, appallingly low tolerance levels, and how they have allowed their children to run wild. Suggest ways in which they might improve their children's sleeping habits, toilet training, table manners, and overall behavior. Enjoy it, because this will be the last time in your life when you will have all of the answers. Test number 3. This is called the night test. The nights. What will the nights be like? Walk around the living room from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. carrying a wet bag weighing 20 pounds. With a radio turned to static or some other obnoxious sound playing loudly. At 10 p.m., put the bag down, set the alarm for midnight, and go to sleep. Get up at 11 and walk the bag around the living room until 1 a.m. Set the alarm for 3 a.m. As you can't get back to sleep, now this is comical because my daughter is going through this exact thing right now. As you can't get back to sleep, get up at 2 a.m. and make a cup of tea. Go to bed at 2:45 a.m. Get up again at 3 a.m. when the alarm goes off. Sing songs in the dark until 4 a.m. Put the alarm on for 5 a.m. Get up when it goes off. Make breakfast. Keep this up for 5 years and look cheerful. 4, dressing the children test. Have you got this one, Hannah? You got the slide for this one? This is buy a living octopus and a string bag. A live octopus. How many of you remember dressing your small children? I think we got a slide come up here. Attempt to put the octopus into the string bag so that no arms hang out. Time allowed 5 minutes. Did you find it? Should be the next one. There it is. Look familiar? Also, this is ski trips and anything else you go on when you know, this is okay, the cars test. This is a cars test. Forget the BMW, buy a practical 5-door minivan. Buy a chocolate ice cream cone, put it in the glove compartment, and leave it there. Get a coin, insert it into the CD player. Take a box of chocolate biscuits, mash them into the back seat. Run a garden rake down both sides of the car. Text 6. Conversations with the children. Repeat everything you say 5 times. Should be another one there. Giving her the Dickens today. Number 7, grocery shopping. Oh boy, we remember this one. Go to the local supermarket, take with you the nearest thing you can find to a preschool child. Usually a full-grown goat is excellent. If you intend to have more than one child, take more than one goat. Buy your weekly groceries without letting the goat out of your sight. Pay for everything the goat eats or destroys until you can easily accomplish this. Do not even contemplate having children until you can. Test 8. Feeding a 1-year-old. Hollow out a melon. Make a small hole in the side. Suspend the melon from the ceiling and swing it from side to side. Get a bowl of soggy cornflakes and attempt to spoon feed them into the swaying melon while pretending to be an airplane. Continue until half the cornflakes are gone. Tip the rest of it into your lap and make sure a lot of it falls on the floor. All right? Test 9, the mess test. Smear peanut butter on the sofa and jam on the curtains. Hide a fish behind the stereo and leave it there all summer. Stick your fingers in the flower beds, then rub them on the clean walls and cover the stains with crayons. All right. Empty every drawer, cupboard, and storage box in your house on the floor, then proceed with step 5. And step 5 is drag random items from your one room to another and leave them there. Should have a dad right there. Yeah. If you could pull it up there. Anyway, number 10, getting ready for work. Here's the last one. Pick a day on which you have an important meeting, put on your finest work attire, take a cup of cream and put 1 cup of lemon juice in it. Stir it. Dump half of it on your nice silk shirt. Saturate a towel with the other half of the mixture. Attempt to clean your shirt with the same saturated towel. Don't change, you have no time. Go directly to work. You are now ready to have your children. Hope that was encouraging to you. Jason, you guys are like, we're sticking with the cows and the dogs and the cats. Hey, you'll notice in your bulletin there that I gave you a, there you are. I'm calling this, I just called it the mother with 6 arms, right? And really no reason for that other than I kind of wanted a catchy title and I thought that was kind of cool. So, but here are the 6 arms right here, and I would suggest that these are the arms that mothers hold us with, the arms that they reach out and serve us with every day of their lives. And so what I've done is I've made an acronym, and I'm not hiding the acronym from you. You can see what each one of those things means. But for a kind of a just short Mother's Day message, I thought it'd be kind of fun to go and look at just a quick definition of what each of these means, because mothers demonstrate each of these things. So what does this mean? And these are the things that we should be appreciating about our mothers, by the way. So you're going to have to put on your mom goggles. And if you just look closely enough, you're going to be able to see these in our moms. Now let me read this verse. There's Ephesians 6, 1 through 3, and Exodus 21, 1 through 12. And it's the same verse, but listen carefully, and I quoted it earlier. Children, obey your parents. Why? Because you belong to the Lord. And this is the right thing to do. That's what it said. You belong to the Lord. It's the right thing to do. Honor your father and mother. This is the first commandment with a promise. If you honor your father and your mother, things will go well with you and you will live long on the earth. Now listen. If I asked you, how many of you want to live a long life? Every hand goes up. Oh, we all want to live a long life. But not if it doesn't go well with us, right? If we are in bad shape or life is just in the dumps, man. We're in the mully grubs all the time and the bottom falls out and everything is bad for us. Nobody wants to live a long life like that. But if I said, how many of you like to live a long life if you knew for a fact that it would go well with you and everything was going to be great? Not no bad times, but how to strengthen those bad times, all right? What if I told you that could happen? Well, every hand would go up. And so here is the thing. This verse tells you, and you know what we do? We work out We drink and we eat healthy food and we do all this stuff so that we'll live longer. But this is the Bible's plan for longevity. Honor your father and your mother, and it will go, well, I can honor my father, but my mother, or I can honor my mother, but my dad. So the Bible is pretty clear about this. Obey your parents. This is good and pleasing to the Lord. And then you want to have a good life, honor them. I think of my dad when he was getting really sick and how I used to have to carry him to bed every night and flop him over my shoulder. I didn't know whether he was alive or dead. And you know what? My dad was my hero, no matter what. And I'm glad for that. As you know, my mom was taken from me at 14, so I didn't really get to know her as well. But my grandma demonstrated all of the things that I want to show you. So let's look at this first one. Magnificent. That's what our M stands for. Mothers are magnificent. I just did a simple little Google search definition. What does that mean? Exaltation of character, elevated character, the character of grandeur. Now, isn't that described? Now, you look at the mom in your life, and you look at your mama that's either passed on or sitting beside you, or the mother of your children. You tell me, isn't that true? Isn't she absolutely magnificent? Isn't she have elevated character? You know, the skeptics one time, a skeptic can't fight a good example. And Robert Ingersoll was an atheist, and he was speaking at a college campus. And these two college boys went out to listen to him. And as they listened to him refute Christianity and everything else, they were walking down the sidewalk afterwards. And one of them said, well, boy, old Ingersoll sure blew Christianity out of the water, didn't he? And he said, no, sir, he really didn't. And he said, why not? What do you mean he didn't? He goes, he didn't explain my mother. And until he can explain my mother's life, I'm going to stand with my mother's God. Wow. Now think about that. There was an example set by mom that a skeptic can't take. Because, you can tell me God doesn't exist, but I see him in my mom's life. And I see my mom handle the problems of life, and I see. So there's a huge, huge difference there, right? Now, let's go. There's another slide here, I think, right behind this. Here's a little definition. Mothers. One person who does the work to 20 for free. Also masochist, loony, insane. Hey, go to the next one. Boy, this is true. This is so true. Thank God, mothers, for your constant, your magnificent character, and for loving us unconditionally. You know, they say that when a 240-pound man in football hits another 240-pound man, it creates 66,000 pounds of pressure per square inch. That's a lot. But I would suggest that that's not near the impact of a mother. A mother has a greater impact than that. In fact, there were four guys that were standing around, and they were discussing, they were Bible scholars, and they said, let's talk about our favorite translations. My favorite translation is the Old King James. And, oh yes. I was like, I didn't say anything funny. You guys are laughing out of catch here. Yeah, this is a good one. Hannah, oops, hit the wrong button. All right, so, where was I? Thank you. Four Bible scholars. And they were discussing their translations. Which one's the best? One said, I really like the Old King James. He said, I like the poetic flow, and I cut my teeth on it. And another one said, well, I like the American Standard because it's really most literal and really closest to the Greek and Hebrew. Another one said, well, I really like the New International Version. I really like the easy reading of it and the common English of it. And the other one kind of remained quiet, and after a while they said, well, what about you, partner? What's yours? He says, my favorite version is my mother's translation. Mother's? Yes. My mother lived the Bible every day of her life, and that's my favorite translation. So, you see, mothers, you have a major, major impact, and we thank you for that magnificence that you give us. Listen to these quotes about these mothers. Of all remedies, a good mother is the best. There is no modern pain medicine as effective as a mother's kiss. Isn't that true? Cynthia said before, she's like, if she gets sick, she doesn't get sick very often, but if she gets sick, I'm like, what can I get you, darling? And I can make a chicken noodle soup that'll bring the angels back, but I'll say, what can I get you? I just want my mama. That's what she said. It's pretty cool because you never outgrow that. Irma Bombeck. She said, when my kids become wild and unruly, I use a nice, safe playpen. And when they're finished, I climb out. Old burn the ball back. An ounce of mother is worth far more than a ton of clergy or counselors. Abraham Lincoln said, the greatest lessons I've ever learned were at my mother's knees. You know what, that's true. I feel the same way. I was bounced on my grandma's knees, and she read me Bible stories and showed me Bible pictures. And to this day, those are still indelibly impressed in my mind from my grandmama. History shows that the greatest workers for God have godly mothers. If evolution were true, then how come moms still only have 2 hands? Now, I always love this phrase in the Bible. God made a man, and he fashioned a woman. Now, just to illustrate this for a second, I'd like, Pat, would you stand up, please? And John, would you stand up, please? Is there any question that God fashioned a woman and he made a man? I was praying today that she'd wear that dress, because she did, that's such a fashionable little dress, and she pulls it off well, and I said, there's a great illustration right there. So, God, he made us and he fashioned them. So thank you for your excellent care. Here's our O. Our O is the next one. Outstanding. Should be kind of a turquoise slide. There you go. Outstanding. What does that mean? Stands out. Right? This mother, this wonderful mother that we have in our lives is distinguished. This is what it says in the definition. You read it. Distinguished from others in excellence, of major significance or importance. Now, why do I share that? This is Mother's Day, but tomorrow is Mother's Day, and Tuesday is Mother's Day, and Wednesday should be Mother's Day. So are you showing them and telling them specifically where they are significant and where they are important? Have you done that lately? Well, on Mother's Day, I always said to my mother, I wonder why do we wait until the grave? You ever notice? People will stand there at a tombstone, oh, Mom, I thank you so much for what you gave me, and dear Mom. And I wonder sometimes, did you do that when they were alive? Did you express constantly and daily? Try at least daily to in some way say how much I love you and appreciate you and how important and significant you are in my life? That's what it means to honor our fathers and our mothers today. Wonder why so many moms feel insignificant. Listen to this. This is a letter from Chuck Swindoll. Or just a story that he gave. And it's a letter to Mom, and this is really cool. Listen to this as you think about Mom being outstanding. Dear Mom, as I walk through my museum of memories, I owe you for your time, day and night. I owe you for your example, consistent and dependable. I owe you for support, stimulating and challenging. I owe you for humor, sparky and quick. I owe you for counsel, wise and quiet. I owe you for humility, genuine and gracious. I owe you for hospitality, smiling and warm. My precious mother, I owe you for your insight, keen and honest. I owe you for your flexibility, patient and joyful. I owe you for your sacrifices, numerously and quickly forgotten. I owe you for your faith, solid and sure. And I owe you for your hope, ceaseless and indestructible. Mom, I owe you for your love, devoted and deep. Moms are outstanding. They are significant. Make sure you take the time to tell them that. Next one. The third one is our third letter is T for tender. All right. Here's the definition. Given to sympathy. Boy, I don't know about you, but my dad had the sympathy of a chainsaw killer. That was Dad, Mom, Grandma, that's a whole different story. They just have they're given. It's usually Mom we run to if we're hurt, right? Not Dad. Displaying warmth or affection, gentleness and sentimentality. Moms are tender. Thank you for that. David said, thy gentleness, O Lord, has made me great. See, God has in his father heart also has mothering characteristics. And so, you're already saying God's feminine? No, I'm saying God is, in his nature, is father-like and mother-like. And he meets those needs, and he has the tender side. God, that's what produces in us the character of velvet and steel. We need to be steel as men, but we also need a velvet side, and we attribute that to our mothers. And you know what? There's a verse there where in 1 Timothy, or 2 Timothy, chapter 1, verse 5, I believe. And it says, I love your faith, Timothy, but I remember how it first was in your grandmother Louise, and then in your mother Eunice, and now I'm sure it's in you, he said. So we get these things, this tenderness, this faith part of our lives. I think of my old grandma with her Bible stories that she read me, and then, like she was a cutout. Granny would do a thing where we do swing dancing. Man, I can swing dance. And in fact, I was doing a wedding up in Canada. Did I tell you this story? Have I told you this story about the old gal up in Canada, and she came up and she goes, "Oh, that message was so great, it brought a tear to my glass eye, laddie." But anyway, these two old girls, we were at the reception afterwards, and these two old Scottish girls, they were lit. And one of them says, "Hey, preacher, would you care to dance?" And I said, "Sure, I'll dance." And because it was a swing dance song, and I know how to swing dance. Well, she was a pretty plump girl, and I figured this could be an interesting dance. Now, I swung dance. There's a part where you throw them over your back and they land on the floor. I didn't do that part, but and then she came over there and said, "That preacher is the best dancer on the floor." Well, the reason for that is because my little granny said, "Come on, Marky, hon," and we'd swing dance, and she'd flip me around the house. These were the velvet times. Those are things I remember. Those things. Listen to this. When you think about a mom being tender, listen to this poem. I think this is so good. It says, "A mother gives her children stepping stones to the stars. Her love is unconditional. Her heart has no bars. A mother teaches her children to be confident and bold. Her special love to her children is more valuable than silver or gold. A mother picks up her children and wipes away their tears. She chases away monsters in the night and silences their fears. A mother celebrates her children's accomplishments in life, and she hurts and cries with them when life brings times of strife. A mother shares her love freely with her in her tender, loving way. She grows more beautiful to her children with each passing day. And a mother is one of God's greatest gifts to you and me. Her love will remain locked in our hearts and souls for all eternity." The next one is honorable. The H stands for, so moms, thank you for your tenderness. Make sure you tell your mom, your grandma, thank you for those tender times, those fun times, those times when only mom's kiss and tender touch will do. Honorable is our H, and I really like this. By the way, a lot of people think I order slides. I don't order slides. I make these myself. So, I have to work with stuff I find, but anyway, this is for you mothers. I'm doing this for you. Honorable. Authentic, not deceptive, adhering to ethical, moral principles, deserving of esteem or respect. Interesting. She deserves your respect. Moms, you're honorable, and you stop and think about how they build in us character. Now, not all mothers are honorable, right? There was one little gal, little granny, was kind of going through the check stand in the grocery store. And as she was going through, this young man pulled up behind her in his cart, and he had about 3 items there, and he said she was unloading her cart. She had a whole bunch of stuff, and she was unloading her cart, and she was just staring at him. And he said, "Excuse me, ma'am, is there something wrong? You keep staring at me." She goes, "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry." She said, you look exactly like my son that just passed away." And she said, "Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am, I apologize. Is there anything I can do for you?" She said, "You know what, there really is." She said, when I leave, when I walk away, if you would just say, "Goodbye, Mother," that would make me feel so good, and it would help me bring some closure. So he said, "Okay, I can do that." So they loaded up her basket and stuff, and as they were ringing him up, she walked away, and he said, "Goodbye, Mother." And then they were loading up his thing, and the bill came to $247. He said, "How can that be? I had 3 items." They said, "Oh, your mother said you were paying for her." Not all mothers are honorable, right? Some of them are a little tricky. But let's get real practical here for a second. How do you demonstrate this respect? Whatever happened to chivalry? Some of us, old boys, still believe in tipping our hat or taking our hat off when we meet a woman. I do that. Well, that's kind of corny and old-fashioned. Well, so what? It shows respect. What about pulling the chair out for? What about opening the doors? What about there was a day when Mom walked into the room and the boys would stand up like skinhead Marines. out of respect to the mother, right? And they didn't sit down until the mom sat down. And there was kind of an old fact. We've lost that in our generation. And I think part of our society problems is because we don't treat the woman like she should be treated. Of course, a lot of them don't want to be treated with that kind of tenderness and that. They want to be equal, right? Keep moving, preacher. Don't get stuck. I'm not condemning that. I'm just saying we've lost that part where we treat her like our flower. She's our queen, right? And I think we better get back to that. That's part of being very practical in that. What about going beyond Mother's Day card and sending a long letter to your mom? Have you done that? When was the last time you sat down and wrote a long letter to your mom and just said how much you love and appreciate all the things in her life, including the small things? And those small things are huge. I think of Cynthia and all she does, it's amazing, isn't it? It's like, if you stop to think of all the little bitty teeny tiny things she does in a day, and I call them her little huge things. I get up and the coffee's ready. You know, there's a lot of fights over there. You make the coffee, no, you make the coffee. She doesn't. She just does it. And little notes left, and just stuff that's constantly done that would be, man, I'd be a deep squat. Right? How would you be, Jack, without Amy? I know. Okay, so our last one then is number 6. Or did I do 5? I didn't do 5, I'm sorry. E is for extraordinary. Exceptional, beyond what is ordinary, far more unusual or usual or expected. So here's what you need to do. Write your letter to your mom and tell her the ways that she's exceptional and beyond the ordinary. Okay? Let her know that. Let's move to 6. Number 6, remarkable. And there's one thing, this is the only thing they said as a definition for remarkable. It is worthy of notice. She is worth you noticing. So that's what I'm saying is, have you noticed lately and have you mentioned lately all the stuff? And I don't just mean, hey honey, I love you. You know, and there are some guys say, well, I told her I loved her the day we got married, good enough. I mean, I'm serious. I know people like that. Okay, so you got to, and that's funny. It's a funny joke, but there are some people that actually live that way. Like, I don't bring her flowers, I don't tell her I love her, don't do that stuff, don't need to, because I told her the day we got married, good enough. Okay? Well, that's a travesty. That's too bad. All right. Okay, so thank her for helping you make you the most wonderful person that you are. And then the last thing too is that love her unconditionally. She loved you unconditionally. She loved you unconditionally, and we expect that from her, right? So let me close with this story. There was a man and his wife and his little girl, and he's kind of a businessman, and they needed to get away. So somebody loaned them an executive cabin, a really nice big old cabin up in the mountains with a big lake. And so they were there and they were enjoying themselves, and the little girl said, she's just a little squirt, and she said, Daddy, let's go out the boat. He said, okay, and Mom said, I'm going to stay here and make dinner. You guys go ahead and go have some fun. So they got in the boat and they floated out into the lake, and here come one of those Texas frog stranglers. I mean, it was a storm come in with those boiling clouds. And I mean, it was pounding rain on them, and the waves were boisterous, and the dad was scared because she's little. And he said, oh God, he said, Lord, please help me get this boat. He couldn't see. They couldn't see the land. They couldn't tell which side was which. And he said, help me get this little girl safely back to the house. And so about that time, the little girl goes, Daddy, I see a light. There's a light. And the dad looked and he said, well, that's the light of the cabin. That's Mom. He said, okay, honey. He said, and he got up to row. And he says, I'm going to row. He said, you tell me how to stay on course. You tell me where to go. So he would row with everything he had. And she would keep saying, a little bit more this way, Daddy. A little bit that way, Daddy. Go more of this to the left, Daddy. Finally, clunk, clunk, the boat hit the deck, or hit the side. And they pulled that thing up on the side and didn't even bother to tie it off. And they ran in the cabin with joyous, relieved faces. And the little girl piped up and she said, Mommy, she said, we made it back safely because we saw your light. You know what? There are a lot of moms. There are a lot of people who are going to be in heaven because they saw Mom's light. And she guided them into the safe harbor, right? There is no greater way to honor your mother than to give your life to Jesus Christ. I mean, as a parent, there's nothing that I would want more than to know that my family knows the Lord so that we can be back together again in heaven someday. I've gone to a lot of funerals where, yes, he's in a better place now. Well, we don't know that because we don't know. He lived like the devil, and yet we're saying, oh, he's in a better place. It's not necessarily true. It's not what the Bible says. And Mom, your light, when you shine that light, and you are that faithful, consistent, everything that's on there, on that list, that is a light that is shining out. And someday, wouldn't it be nice to have your kids come into the heaven's door and say, Mom, I made it because I followed your light. Big responsibility. Heavenly Father, thank you, Lord, for our mothers. We love them, we appreciate them, we respect them, we value them. I thank you for your character that shows in them. And us men, Lord, we need our women. We need our mothers and our grandmothers. And Lord, I think back of the investment that my grandmama made in me in so many ways. And I see her in me every day. And I'm grateful to you. And Lord, I seriously will be able to walk through heaven's gate and say, hey, Granny, look, I'm here because I followed your light that you left me. Oh, God. Father, today, if there's anybody here that doesn't know Jesus Christ, and they would like to make that clear today, I just pray, if you are here today, and you've never given your life to the Lord, that it's as simple as this prayer. You would say, Dear Lord, I know that I'm a sinner. And I know that I need a Savior. I need a shepherd in this life. And I need you to come into my life and be the Lord of my life and make me everything that I ought to be. And I pray you would come into my life and save me and take me home to heaven someday. In Jesus' name. And if you said that prayer, I hope that you'll make it public or tell someone so that we can help you out and get you started in life. As that is the most important prayer you will ever pray. And mothers want all of their children to say that prayer. Bless these dear folks today, Father. May you bless them and keep them and protect them. May you make your face to shine upon them and be gracious to them. Show them your favor, Lord. In Jesus' name.